Hello, everyone. Manly is here, and welcome back to another episode of Hunter Call of the Wild.
Robbo, he turned his folk station into a wildlife sanctuary a few years ago.
Yeah, we take in wounded animals, we nurse them back to health, and, if possible, release them back into the wild.
And as you can see,
And you arrange guided visits with schools. That's when Robbo gets to talk the kids' ears off about the wildlife.
I know, that's the best part of the work. And, most of the time, they listen.
we are in a brand new area, visiting for the first time, so you may hear a bunch of dialogue. And that area is the Emerald Coast Reservation in Australia. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow the main storyline. Since we have just arrived here in the Emerald Coast, a lot of the area is unknown to us. So I think that might be exciting for us to go through the story and explore the Australian outback and what it has to offer. And the first thing we've been tasked to do by Mr. Robert Robbo Rains is go to an overgrazed area by kangaroos and see what we can do about them. And what Robbo calls population management. With us, we're going to be bringing our Moriarty Model 1894 that shoots in the 44 caliber. So we're bringing some 44 jacketed hollow point ammo with us that is effective at 50 meters and has a recommended class range of 3 to 8 with great expansion. So I think that might work well with the kangaroos. We're also going to bring our 4x24 rifle scope. And we're just going to bring our electronic fox collar because we don't have any other lures available at the moment for these particular animals here. We've also have some scent eliminator to help keep us our scent down. And of course, bringing our trusty binoculars and rangefinder. We're also going to bring a ground blind and a tree stand to help provide camouflage. And what we can expect to find are some animals we're familiar with, others not so much, such as the bantang. And this is a native cattle species from southern Asia and a larger counterpart to their domestic relatives that we may find here in the Americas. They're timid and reclusive, so they tend to be on high alert, but they prefer dense forests, especially coastlines. They have decent sight and hearing, but a normal sense of smell. They prefer to be in mixed social groups with a higher population of females and are rarely solitary. They're most active in the morning and late afternoon and require a very large class of ammo to take down effectively. That's okay because they're not going to be our main priority. Um, what you may also hear, and hopefully that we come across, are the eastern gray kangaroo. It is the heaviest and second largest marsupial endemic to eastern Australia. And their behavior consists of grazing, resting, and traveling, and are very curious. So we may be able to get close to them. They prefer to be in grasslands, woodlands, and the very edges of the jungle. They have a decent hearing and sense of vision, and they tend to be in mobs of 10 or less, so typically highly social, most active during the dusk and dawn, and require a class 4 ammo. And before we start our hunt, um, we may also come across the feral goat, and these we've heard a lot already, and they are kind of an invasive species brought here by early settlers. They're inquisitive, but usually quite vocal. They tend to live in native grassland, scrub, and forest. They have an average sense of hearing, good vision, but an excellent sense of smell. They like to be in mixed groups of males and females and are most active during the daytime. They require at least a class 3 ammo. And finally, what I want to cover is the saltwater crocodile. These can are ferocious animals that can get over 6 meters in length and over 1,000 kilograms. And they're one of the most aggressive species in the world, making them very dangerous. They tend to be in the coastal brackish mangrove swamps and in river deltas. They have an excellent sense of smell, hearing, and vibration, so they'll feel when we approach. They're solitary, territorial, and extremely aggressive, most active during the night, dusk, and dawn, and require a Class 8 ammo. And there are other animals that we may come across, but the most important one being Ajax, who is a very good boy and will help us track any animals that we need. So we're going to begin our journey and head over to this grazing area. And let's see if we can cross this river here. And we'll be on the lookout for any animals that we see on the way, as our primary mission right now is to just get to that area, and it's quite far away, so we'll be running there most of the time. But that doesn't mean we can't take in this beautiful scenery that the Emerald Coast provides. And what do we have? We already have an eastern gray kangaroo who is aware of our presence. And I like to travel with our binoculars just so we can see any animals in the distance. And that is, oh, and look at them go.
Yeah, that's a roo if ever I've seen one. Be careful. Could be tough to hit a vital organ when they're on the move.
And to see them move like that is just wonderful. And I very much like this biome. I think the sparse trees and the dry brush against that beautiful sunrise, it makes for a very relaxing place to hunt. And look at them just hopping along, probably going to that grazing area out there. And we have some feral goat tracks. Quite a lot, actually. A rather large, what did they call it? Mob of goats. All heading in one particular direction. What else can we see across the Australian outback? Not a whole lot right now, but I think all the animals are just waking up. And An eastern gray kangaroo fleeing from our presence and giving a warning call as well. You can hear that very guttural sound that they make as a warning call, so we'll keep our ears out for that, especially as we approach the grazing area. And it's good to know that they tend to be very vocal too. Even so far away, they're able to be aware of us and let their other kangaroo mates know we're here. Unless perhaps there's a predator around that even we are not aware of. But Ajax would keep us privy to them. And some feral goats. Let's see if we can't see them. Oh, what do we have? Look at them. Quite large animals. And that's a beautiful male one. And our friend, the red fox, there she is. And we are familiar with just how elusive fox are. And what do I see? A whole mob of goats. And look at those males with their horns. Quite large. A little bit larger than the females. But we know that they are very much aware of us. And although that distance isn't too far, we would like to get at least a little bit closer for our rifle. We have some eastern gray kangaroo tracks. And what do we have here? We have an eating zone for the feral goat. Wonderful. It's always great to find these zones as we travel around the reservation. And I believe the only predator that we'd have to keep an eye out for is the crocodile. So we'll be very careful about the coast of the little oases that are scattered about the reservation, as we would rather not accidentally step on a crocodile. And our friend the fox is around, and there she is. And I wonder if she'll look at those goats as some sort of prey as well. Would be interesting. And I love just how that morning sun pokes through the tops of the trees. And we're getting close now to where we need to be. again, just keeping an eye out as we get to these coastlines, and I'm worried that these goats should too. We also want to be aware of the batang, um, because they can be rather vicious. Okay, I don't see any alligators, so it's safe to cross for now. And of course, Ajax enjoying the water. And we found a resting zone for our feral goats, which is wonderful. In the event we ever need to hunt goats, now we know where they are. And I'm not quite sure what exactly Robbie and Soph will have us do up here, but we'll find out. And what do we have? Some more feral goats. And they are aplenty. Very invasive indeed. Okay. And it seems we're getting close to the area. Let's go ahead and eliminate any scent that we may have on us. Okay. And we are here.
First, try to spot a roo from a distance without spooking them. Your best bet is to climb a fire lookout tower. Another workout for your calves, I'm afraid.
And we can do that. Well, let's see what we can... Oh. And there's another beautiful female red fox. And we found an eating area for it. We'll try not to spook it as we go. Not what I'm after. But good to know that they're around. What else can we see in the distance? And that's its warning call. And it sees us from very far away. And we do have some fresh kangaroo droppings, so we know that they're around. And it might be a good place to set up our foxborough. Well, let's get to the top of the tower and see what we can observe. What do we have? Some feral goats. You can see them at the crest of the hill. And look at that male goat. They are actually very, they have very nice coats. And they indeed do travel in quite large packs. So let's get up here and see just how vast this reservation is. What it has to offer.
Great.
Oh my, would you
How's
look
the
at
view?
that?
Take out your binoculars and try to spot a kangaroo from up there, for starters.
Let's survey the
Usually
area.
roam the outback, so you should be able to spot one. If you can't see any close by, you'll have to get out in the bush and track them down.
We are more than welcome to track them down. Wonderful. Okay. This is a gorgeous sight. What is that leading us to? Spot a kangaroo. I think They may not be over there. I thought I heard them over here in this direction. Oh, there they are. There's
Good.
one.
Ain't it beautiful? But before you start, there's a couple of things you need to know about kangaroo shooting.
We have strict shooting regulations in Australia. What's legal or not to shoot? What's the right caliber and ammo for each species? Robbo, did you submit the codex entries for our local species?
Right, just finished them last night. If you want to know more about the roo or any other animal, it's all in there.
Or give us a call. Either way, we know you'll do your due diligence before you plan your next hunt.
The roo's mostly what we're
Harvest.
known for overseas. That and deadly spiders. And fair enough, it's a very important cultural icon for us. But it's also a fascinating creature. Can be both aggro or skittish. As a marsupial, it displays unique behaviors and movement patterns that you won't find in any other species. Just one
Okay.
example. Don't try disturbing kangaroos at close range, or they'll know how to get rid of you.
So we have, you can see, a
It's time
very
to introduce
intricate
you to one of your main
list.
tasks here. Invasive species and pest culling. We have heaps of them in Australia. Some are native, quite a few were introduced. They come in all shapes and sizes. I'll show you my tea fields. You'll see the mess pests can do and why they're a major problem to both the ecosystem and the economy. I've tagged the location on your hunter, mate. Can't wait to see you in action. Talk later.
I think before we do that, save that for a later time. Let's look at exactly what this mission for kangaroo management needs us to do.
Oh, and as agreed, to help you in your task, our Hunters Association is happy to offer you a varmint rifle. You can just go collect it yourself. I've left it at an outpost close to where you're going.
And for kangaroo management, we have to harvest the kangaroo shot from with 25 meters with any weapon. That's going to be a little difficult. We're going to harvest the kangaroo with a heart shot. Okay. Harvest kangaroo shot from at least 200 meters, so also very difficult. Get a gold or better shot with a handgun. Kangaroo with a gray fur variation. Kangaroo shot without a scope from 125 meters. Kangaroo with a brown fur variation. And kangaroo with leucistic fur variation. These ones are pretty rare. I think the leucistic, if I'm
Back in the
saying that
18th
correctly,
and
is
19th
rare.
centuries, people thought it would be fun to bring deer over and hunt them, just like they did back in Europe. Soon enough, they thrived in their new environment and started competing with native animals.
Yeah, within a few generations, deer populations were out of control. And that's just one of the many biodiversity challenges we have. Just in the last decade, we lost tons of threatened species.
They sure do enjoy talking, just as much as I do. But let's try and find a kangaroo and hunt one. And I know we saw a male, a rather large male, jump around this way. We're going to keep our ears peeled and head over here.
You'll often hear Aussies say that if you give it enough time, any species will become feral. Usually 2 to 3 generations tops. Here, you'll find mostly feral pigs and feral goats. Both of them are some of the worst invasive pests in Australia.
They destroy everything. We don't talk about them as much as rabbits or feral cats, but we should. The rule of thumb is, if it's feral, it's okay to shoot, because you'll be doing nature a service. They ruin pastures, crops, orchards, not to mention they're also a major road hazard out here in the bush.
Saw there was an animal this way. Let's see what we can't find. These are... Okay, so we have that eastern male kangaroo traveling this way. And I think that's the one that we're going to track. Because again, we always try and come away with the males. As they're typically larger. And score better. Let's see if he can track those particular tracks. I think he can only do blood, though. Which is okay. What do we have? Okay, that female. There's that male. I don't need that. I need those kangaroo tracks. Okay. Let's see. They are traveling this way, but it's been quite some time since they did. And let's see what we can find. We might head over to this watering area. Might not be a bad idea. Okay. That's exactly what we want to hear. Because now we know that we are in the right area, and look at them. Let's see. That's the one that we want right there. Leading the pack. Let's try not to lose him. And so what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can attract him with our Fox Pro. looks like we don't have a collar for him. Okay. No worries. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. He's very far away. Still a little nervous about our presence. Let's see. Oh, wow. There are so many. I think we got lucky with that. A legendary kangaroo hopped up onto us and was not afraid at all. Oh, wow. We got a gold trophy on that. And look at this. So we got a beautiful male kangaroo sitting at just 63 kilograms. And it was a legendary difficulty score, which is amazing. So that gives us a 469, just shy of a diamond. And we get 295 XP and 1200 cash for that. Let's see where we were able to get it. Right in that lung, missing the heart. Wow. Yeah, we're going to save that one. That is quite amazing. We're going to overwrite our Eurasian links. And look at that. And I could not be happier. Amazing. Simply amazing. And we have a new mission available. Okay. Let's... We do have some mid-hunting pressure in this area. And I think what we'll do is... I know that was a rather short and maybe uneventful hunt. But I think we will pick it off, or pick it up right off here for next time. I'm still very excited about that kangaroo we just got, and that we were about to trade blows with it. But luckily we have this new RV outpost that we had discovered and can refit and head back out into the bush for another hunt. In any case, I really appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to hunt with y'all next time.